efficiency is not always 100%.
Exactly.
Because people have to stand in queues and wait to be attended. And you know the speed and the rate of operation of humans is different from the speed and the rate of operation of machines.
Yeah. So this thing is still coming back to the fact that I say a lot of people are being laid out with their job.
Once you go online today, everybody that you see talking about how good they are, how they are going to be the best governor, how they are going to be the best senator, this and that. But give them the ability to do that now, and it's going to be just the same story that we have been hearing for years past.
You have small money now.
You can get
You
that.
can build a small power plant that can cater for maybe 20 people.
Yeah.
Buying fuel remedy is too expensive.
Just imagine, say, God forbid, somebody like Emeka get into the jet.
Why do you have space as an example?
When Babatunde and the matching movie.
Please don't come and see us.
No, Babatunde.
Allegedly.
Usually Babatunde so that I put that music on my own.
You are the one that mentioning them.
You don't know Babatunde.
What I used was alleged.
Allegedly.
I said
Let me put allegedly on my own.
You mentioned them. They sue you for defamation. Well,
But allegedly, Babatunde and Babachukwu Emeka goes to China, import generators, come back to the government, tell them that we have to pay this amount of money for our use to go through, while you guys have to seize the power supply between this period of time to this period of time. Thank you guys for joining us once again in the 4th episode of the show. I think if you have been a fan of this show from the episode 1 down to this episode, you should know that this is the 4th episode, and today I have, well, let's say, 2 legends. I'm not going to call them legends. Well, I have 2 interesting people in this show with me today, right? And we are going to be discussing some topics that is very, very interesting, that I think at the end of the show, you will find valuable points and valuable reasons why you are watching this from the beginning. And thank you for being here once again. And let the show begin. This is a point you guys have to clap for me now. Okay, guys, you're welcome for the show once again.
Thank you. It's nice to hear.
And we have done this show like 2 months. This is our first time coming together like this.
I remember, yeah.
You understand?
It's nice,
So
I like
this is our first time coming together with it, and I believe at the end of the day, the 2 powerful people beside me is going to inspire me into technology more than that I know.
Hopefully.
Eh? By His grace. So we are discussing some of the interesting topics today that has to do with also technology, but in a different way that will educate us more than what we usually talk about on AI and the rest of them, right? Now, technology goes beyond AI. Even though that AI is the most recently talked about in almost all the internet. I've been a liar at the line. Anywhere where you just enter, whether TikTok or Facebook, you see AI do this one, AI do that one. So almost everybody talks about it.
Yeah.
You understand?
Of
But then, forgetting that the fact, what gave birth to AI is technology, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now that name technology, people really just kind of understand it to be something like, for those who have said that kind of they read more about internet, they just understand it to be all about AI. Then technology goes beyond AI. You understand? It goes beyond AI. It goes into some of the things that you are even currently using that you don't know that technology is imparted in this. Right? So this is what we are here to talk today. And we are going to be starting with our brother here, Mr. City.
I don't have to be.
If we not start with you,
Who
who will start it?
Yeah. So, guys, you see, the initiative of technology cannot be overemphasized. You see, if you want to talk about the importance of technology and the applications of technology in real life and different sectors of life, you can even take forever to talk about technology. For instance, technology advancement in terms of cutting edge tools. You understand? So there's something we call Internet of Things.
Wait, calm down. You know, you people went to Cambridge. I was not. I was not there. I was not there. Just like what you were Said the last time I been at you, I was asking somebody should slow down so that I will not get lost.
So when I was talking about crime prevention,
Thank God say you remember that.
prevention of cutting-edge tools, like surveillance cameras. But today I'm still talking about cutting-edge tools, but in another dimension. There's something we call Internet of Things, the ability of technology to process data very fast in real time, especially in smartphones technology. You know, these days, rich people, when they build houses, these days they make it smart. You know, to make
This one when they implement the
to make operations in your home very
very
easy and efficient. For instance, you can sit at a place and order your lights to be on through Alexa, and the remote control curtains, security appliances like the security lock in the doors, and the thermostat that you can find in technology equipments like the fridge, the microwave, to reduce temperatures. And also, the Internet of Things is also visible in smart car technologies.
Yes, people still using that. Like, are people still using that?
You go see Tesla, people enter into cars and the cars drive
Self-driven.
without drivers.
Self-driven,
Self-driven cars. It's also an aspect of Internet of Things, and it's also an initiative of technology.
I actually believe, just like you mentioned from the beginning, rich people who build their houses and integrate such
Make it
features
smart,
in
yeah.
their house. You understand? I don't really believe in that.
You prefer doing it with your hands?
You know that I prefer doing it with my hand. Just imagine there are so many disadvantages on that.
What are they?
Okay, let's assume. Okay, let's use Alexa as an example on this case. You use Alexa as the voice point controller of your smartphone, right? Now, Alexa recognizes your voice when you ask it to switch on the light, turn on the fridge, turn on the television, switch off the light and the rest of them, lock the door. Can you imagine how can you imagine how horrible that will be? Bro, we are humans. We do get sick sometimes. Are you getting me? We do get sick. There is a time where you have a sore throat that you cannot even maintain your real voice.
Yes, okay, let me answer that question. In that is why such appliances are built with the ability for you to do those things manually and also do it with the help of technology. Yes, so when your voice fails you to use Alexa, you do them manually. And most of those appliances also have remote control.
So what happens?
So if you cannot use your voice, you cannot stand up, you can use the remote to control your curtains, turn on your lights. You understand?
So what happens in a critical condition where you are being attacked and the smart home you are kind of in, you actually need to use your voice, you understand, to tell that Alexa to take a big action. And at the end of the day, you are being kind of hold on something. You can't speak, you cannot talk, and you cannot even make use of the manual.
If there is not Alexa, whatever that was supposed to happen will still happen.
So, which means the disadvantage is not there.
There is no disadvantage in my own understanding. Yes, as long as there's a backup operational method. You understand?
Like if your door is that one that you open with a key card, and there needs to be electricity on that door for that key card
To function, right?
But if there is no power,
There's
always like a normal backup.
Yeah, there's always a backup key.
Like I
Just like cars that you start with a remote. Most of those cars have a normal key inside that remote. In cases where your remote cannot work, maybe your battery is down or something, you can swap out the key and use to open. So, in my own definition, technology has no disadvantage because most of the technological initiatives, there is always a backup operational method.
No, somebody was telling me the last time, you understand, that biometrics and the facial recognition, that AI is now being integrated on it. How?
Okay, see like this I think it's this new border that China recently implemented in a few of their airports, whereby normally if you go to the airport, you want to fly from the country, you want to fly to another state, you need to present your visa, your passport, all those things for them to scan and ask you a few questions, right? But in this new AI that they implemented into their security cameras in the airport, you don't need to just walk through the door,
Yeah.
right?
And it will
The
capture
camera
your phone.
captures you, all your information comes out.
Mhm.
There is a control
Wait.
center, you understand, that sees all your information, your departure, your arrival, your time of arrival, everything that you need.
You guys are
I
confusing.
understand.
And when you are about to, if yourself, it goes, sorry to cut you
No,
short.
it's fine.
I have a friend in UK. So he was telling me the other time, because we were formerly in Philippines together. So he was telling me the other time that you see all those stresses that we go through when we are about to check out of the airport.
It's
and they
not
don't do it.
necessary.
It's no longer necessary.
Yes.
It's not necessary now.
ordinarily.
We're actually behind here.
Ordinarily, the experience we have is that when we come to the airport,
Yeah.
we have to, when you, after the baggage counter, after dealing with the airline, you have, we will now go to the immigration, from the immigration, the customs, you understand, before you can actually see the gates where you enter the plane from.
Exactly.
But he was telling me that what they do is this: once the airline checks you in, you walk straight to the gate.
And just sit down and wait.
Yes. As you are coming in, the systems, the technological systems have already scanned you.
Do you know your name?
Yes.
Your gate
Look,
number,
this is where I'm getting confused.
They already scan you.
This is where I'm getting confused.
When you get to that gate, do you know what you need to do?
No.
You use your residence permit or your passport. Show it to the screen there. It will just capture your details.
Just tick.
If you have overstay, it will raise an alert immediately.
Does it have
You
to?
can, the gate will not even open for you.
Wait. I want to get something first. Oh, no, don't be confused my brain again. Oh God. See, this thing that you guys are talking about, does it have to do that? Okay, does it mean that the world has a universal database now that you get to? Because for example, if
word per se,
Not the
that
country
that
specific.
country,
how about if you
that
are just
airport.
entering?
Mhm.
How about
You cannot enter a country.
You cannot enter without being documented.
Exactly.
You will be documented.
Oh, yeah.
So what do you know what happens? It's like the same thing that I explained when I was talking about crime prevention and the incorporating cutting-edge technologies like facial recognition systems
Okay.
that are able to capture faces from the CCTV camera and also interact with the national database. So every country has a national database. Even immigrants have a database.
Yes.
So when you got your visa, the country is aware. And your data is documented.
Yeah.
So these data, they have a way that they interact. The database have a way it interacts with these facial recognition systems. So that whenever it captures your face, it interacts with the database to match, do the matchings and approvals.
You know,
You understand?
this thing is still coming back to the fact that I say a lot of people are being laid out of their job. Yeah, because trust me, before this AI integration in this airport that you're talking about,
People that used to
there are, yeah.
I will be like, have you forgotten? You are only talking about, you are being emotional. You're talking
No,
about,
this is not about being emotional because imagine if you are kind of one of the people that
Okay.
were laid out of their
Okay,
job.
you know,
Yeah.
let me.
I mean, it's
let me-
sad. It's sad.
Let me explain something.
Yeah.
Everything has good side and bad side. You can never get it 100%. Now, if you talk about the people that lost their job, the people that are supposed to be there working, are you talking about how it has decluttered the airport? For instance, that my friend told me that in UK airport now there are not too much seats because it's assumed that you are not supposed to waste too much time. When there are those people that are sitting there working, there is always a long queue.
Yeah.
Efficiency is not always 100%.
Exactly.
Because people have to stand in queues and wait to be attended. And you know the speed and the rate of operation of humans is different from the speed and the rate of operation of machines.
Yeah.
So now, with the invention of these technologies, cutting edge technologies now, once you are there at the airport and at the point where you need to be attended, the technology, the machines will do their thing, picture your face, relate to the systems, the cutting edge systems, and they relate to database and approve you fast. Everything happens with the twinkle of an eye in seconds, and you go. But a human can be sick tomorrow. today they can tell you that the person that is
I cannot do
supposed
this
to
one.
attend you is not available,
Yeah.
and it will slow down the oppression and the system of the whatever the corporation or the country.
But
So,
we are the
Let's
second.
even bring it closer, self. Imagine when we were younger and we had to go to the bank for everything. We want to go to the bank to withdraw money,
Mhm.
to make a complaint, to get your transaction history, to
Mhm.
get an ATM card, to do everything.
Everything you
have
need to
the
go
bank.
there.
But now you don't have to. It's a mobile app. You can get your
Do
transaction
everything.
history. It's a mobile app. You can transfer money. It's a mobile app.
Print your
account,
account, get your account statements.
You can even. It's a mobile app. You can even order an
But
ATM.
I don't. I think before now.
Understand?
But I think before now.
Mhm.
I think before now, biometrics and facial recognition has already been
They
integrated.
have already been existing, yes, but
Yes.
just that now it's being spread
More
out
advanced.
over multiple.
The
devices.
biometrics that has been there is also a technological support. It was also technology
You know
that invented whatever that was
not
there.
there before.
Because what you may be talking about are those things that you go and press your
Yeah, those are the basic biometrics we know
Are
about.
those
now.
not electronics?
Yeah, they are.
Electronics is an aspect of technology.
You know, I give it to these guys. You know, I give it to these startups guys and innovators. You just imagine that. Just like you are sitting now, you go into any maybe business center, organization, or whatever. Let's just say use supermarket and restaurant as an example. Now you experience some technical problems, and within you know this is something that you can actually think about how to fix it. You understand? Now you go home, you sit down,
Yeah.
draft it out. The experience you have there, what could be the possible cause and what can be the solution to solve this problem. Right? Now this is where this guy, I am proud of Africans. I'll be honest. I'm proud of Africans. What these like the idea these guys are bringing up on a daily basis is really innovative.
Impressive, yeah.
Seriously. Now, imagine that you can run a whole lot, like you can just do that in an entire transactions of money within banks, between the government, the banks, and individuals without you having a single cash in your hands. Now, this doesn't have to do with just an ATM card and whatever. In most cases, you have limitations. Like I can say about 5 years ago or 6 years ago, you cannot just go to a supermarket and pay with your ATM card. Hope you know that. You can't go there and pay with your ATM card. But whatever thing that has been existing in the Western countries, Africans are trying to build it up here. And you know the best part of it, these guys are still bringing in new ideas. But I believe that the only problem they are having now, just as you're sitting here, this guy, Emeka bring up an issue that's, guy, I have this idea to build up something like this. Probably this project is going to take between 50,000 to 100,000 dollars. Yeah, you need investors.
Funding.
You need funding. Yeah, if you don't have, there are many startups, there are many African startups that has great idea that doesn't have anybody to fund them. You understand? And I still believe there are other people, other investors, a group of entrepreneurs who are taking this as a responsibility, right, to raise funds for startups that has a good valuation. You understand? Now imagine that you bring up an idea that's actually going to solve at least 10% of what is happening in Nigeria. 10% of Nigeria today is about, it's not up to 20-something million.
It should be.
Yeah, that's above over 20.
Almost 30 million.
Almost 30 million, right? Now imagine like you bring in an idea that is solving the problems of 30 million people in Nigeria. My guy, you reason them now.
Even if you are charging them monthly subscription of 200 naira per month.
You are made in life.
Yeah, I mean,
Ordinarily, one of the most effective way to make money is by solving problems. Once you identify a problem,
bring a
offer
solution to it.
people will come for that solution and then they will exchange money. You understand? Because I've taken time to study the background of certain successful businessmen and billionaires, and I have come to realize that what they actually did was to solve a problem.
Yes,
And so-
I believe in that.
So
And they also knew one or two people in the government that sent them submit contracts. Because let us add that one also.
Yeah, that is also important.
Yes, but the fundamental thing is that you must identify a
The
problem.
problem, that's true.
And that is when you have had an idea, is when you now look for support to execute it.
Exactly. Because even though you are going to meet the people in the government without a good variation
Nobody will
of your
answer you.
program, nobody will answer you now.
Technology has done so much, so great for the world. Take a look at the green energy initiative, the invention of solar energy systems.
Especially for countries in the tropics like Nigeria,
Yes.
that the sun is so high, you understand?
Yeah.
But
By
yet,
the
there
time
is
you get
no.
out of your house, like 7 a.m., 8 a.m., the sun is already so high in the sky.
But do you know,
Or we don't
Africa,
have power.
I believe
Yeah,
that
so
Africa.
we take advantage
Of solar.
of
And it can be so
the
effective.
sun.
That's why for people that have like businesses, you know that the power supply is not reliable. But at least if you have solar, you can get, in addition to the normal power supply, you can get at least 10 hours, 8 hours a day. If you have 8 hours of power in your place of business,
That's really.
and you need so and you work with, maybe you are like a printing press, or you are like a laundry service, so you
Yeah.
need electricity.
Or you run a
to
business
your
center
machines.
that has to do
Exactly,
with steady electricity.
buying fuel every day is too expensive.
But bro, the truth is that let's just call a spade a spade. No, although I'm going to give the accolade to I don't know who is the new minister of electricity recently.
Has there been an uptick?
Not really an uptick, but I can say that.
Honestly speaking, I don't think we've gone.
Many people are not going to notice that improvement. But if you are judging how the electricity is being given this time around, compare it to the last 4 years, you will understand there is an improvement. You understand? But then, because I believe there is a point there where they have to share the light between band A, B, and C. Now, the band A has to get more electricity than B, while B has to get more electricity than C. Now, all of these things, we are seeing it as a benefit or as an improvement. But you actually know that Nigeria has all it takes to power the entire country straight up 24 hours without any
Then why
interruption.
haven't we done it after?
Bro, we are giving so many countries lights.
I think that a lot of people have been sabotaged. It's alleged that people that are in the importation of
Generator.
generators
I've heard that, but I'm just not sure how true.
Yeah,
it
you
is.
think
That is why I used it's alleged.
when Babatunde and the matching movie.
Please don't come and sue us.
No, Babatunde,
Allegedly.
usually Babatunde so that I put that issue on my own.
You are the one
Allegedly.
that's mentioning them.
You don't know Baba, do you know Babatunde?
What I used was alleged.
Allegedly.
I
You
said
know,
it
let me
is
put
alleged.
allegedly on my own.
If you mention them, they sue you for defamation, you go and
Allegedly, Babatunde and Papa Chukwemeka goes to China, import generators, come back to the government, tell them that we have to pay this amount of money for our goods to go through, while you guys have to seize the power supply between this period of time to this period of time.
People can buy generators.
But you know what? If the people in that head of electricity understand how the business goes, you see, you are using a meter, right? The same goes to you. Do you know that how long the electricity is on is how long your meter is going to be charged? Bro, this is business. Imagine how much these people are making in a whole day that they are giving out 24 hours of light.
But
That
the issue is way above their pay grade. The issue is way above the workers at the electricity companies.
how?
Because these, will I call them the market kings, they have long legs, their tentacles go to even to the federal house. You understand me?
Okay.
So it is not an issue of the workers at the electricity company. You understand? It goes beyond that. A lot of people have interest in the electricity.
But even those
sector.
workers say they still have bad power supply in their houses, right?
So they can't complain
So
just
they
like
can't even. So as you are complaining to them, who are they going
So
to
if it is in their power, they
They
will
will
have
make sure
many
that
drugs
they
because it
themselves
will
have
affect them.
but you know, I believe
There are a lot of interest parties
in it.
in the epileptic electricity
I know.
situation.
I know. I think if I actually want to make this thing more kind of state responsibility than federal it is. If we want to make it more state responsibility, I believe that every state, as we have 36 states in Nigeria, Have they added another one? So
It's still
no.
36.
it's still that is right. They have not declared
That's
other
36.
states, right? It's still under. So since they have that states in Nigeria, I believe that if each state is being given the power to go back home
And generate some
their own
electricity.
electricity.
That's the problem because
Yeah.
I think that electricity issue is among the federal responsibilities.
No, that's. I don't think.
If
Not
it's
every
no,
state we.
no,
because
I heard
Nigeria's
something like that.
Electricity's supply is hydroelectric now, but it's in country
Yes.
and
Not
I
all-
recently,
But-
some
but-
states have that kind of
But I think
water.
that if they can take advantage of solar energy system, the states can be able to power.
that's what I'm saying, because
Even
recently
if it means
using solar to generate the
building plants, local governments by local governments, or even community by community.
The amount of land space required to generate enough power with solar to power a local government, not to talk of the states.
Then
Land
let
size
it be
is
then let it be micro plants. I also have another solution.
Mm-hmm.
If they can give the private sector
To take the
licenses
yeah.
to invest in the power sector. Already some people are doing. There was one
There's
man
something
that
like
was
that
doing
already.
it in Aba. The
Geometric.
man that geometric.
It's already existing
Okay,
now.
but it is not encouraged. The private sector investment in the power sector is not encouraged.
Why?
So if the state and the government, don't you know the amount of frustration the person that was building the geometric electricity. There was one man that came out to complain that that how he was being frustrated by the previous administrations and the ones before them. You understand? Due to the self-interest parties that are
Even I recently heard that you know the Adeleke, Davido's father.
He also have
Power plant.
where he generates for, I think they said 15%.
Yes, and now he was trying to build a new one.
Do you know
They are
that?
not letting him do it.
Yes.
Do you know that he was even able to have one because of who he is in the society? So what I'm trying to say is to saturate that approval, so that as you are now, if you have small money now,
You can
you
get
can build a small power plant that can cater for maybe 20 people.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So if that
20 houses.
yes, if that authority is being saturated,
Yeah.
like if you have a certain amount of money, you understand me, you can get approved to have a power plant. People will invest in it, and before you know it, it will go round. This person will invest in power plant, this one will invest. Okay, you now you did your own, you are catering for 20.
Yeah.
I'm catering for 50.
Yeah.
This poor person also invested in a and he's catering for maybe 100 people. Before you know it, there will even be many options for people to choose. So so authorizing the private sector to invest in the power sector is one of the ways to solve the ability problem. Because if you go to certain countries, there are a lot of energy companies.
Yeah.
So you can
It's
easily
not just the one that the federal government.
Even the federal, their government itself has lesser responsibility over the electricity there.
So when the monopoly is being reduced, it will boost.
And because it's
Monopoly being reduced in Nigeria is not easy.
That is the major problem. Interest parties,
Yeah, it's not
people
easy.
that want to be there alone. You understand?
Trust
So
me,
it's one of the problems.
the 100% of political people in the seat today, it will be very difficult to count at least 5 people who has the interest of this country at their hands.
They are just there to make money.
Yeah, because everybody sees that as an opportunity to break through their own wealth, creating them for themselves, create a generational wealth. They are, even though they leave the seats, there will never be poor again. Do you understand that? Just imagine, say, God forbid, somebody like Emeka get into the jet tomorrow.
Why do you have to use as an example? Continue.
You understand that? Just imagine that you get to the power tomorrow. This guy.
It's like all those politicians that will look calm.
You know what point?
When it
But
comes
behind
to
closed
using
doors,
the
I'm
pen,
doing wicked
We don't
things.
vote for you.
when it comes to using the pen to do magic,
They are perfect to be.
yes, that's what happens in Nigeria. You see politicians, they come out looking all sense.
I'm very responsible with
Yeah.
their wife and their children for camera and video and everything.
But you know, yeah, identity and reputation is very, very important.
Yeah.
You see, for you to go into that seat, But that identity of we, the citizens, seeing you as a nice person, right? Proving that you have a good reputation in the country for the past years, right? You go into that seat and all of a sudden,
You flip.
Baba, you change.
Yeah.
Because this is what is happening now.
Yeah.
Yeah, allegedly. No, I'm not going to put allegedly on this one because, of course, all of us are experiencing this. The renewed hope. My brother, renewed hope has taken so many things back.
It's the way you just said renewed hope, like my hope just shattered. When you said renewed hope.
I'm just wondering the kind of motivational topic or motivational speech they will bring in 2027. Because this time around, the renewed hope is no longer renewing.
The identity and the digital identity itself, once you go online today, everybody that you see talking about how good they are, how they are going to be the best governor, how they are going to be the best senator, this and that. But give them the ability to do that now, and it's going to be just the same story that we have been hearing for years past. They will promise you one thing before they get into power. Once they get into power, they are doing something else. When you go through their post online, they are always saying something sensible, always saying something that you would expect somebody is going to do something for you to say. But once they get into power, everything flips, right?
Exactly.
They promise you that they are going to pay the teachers, the doctors, the nurses.
That one has been almost 10 years at least 16 years of promises. Almost 16 years of promises.
People don't even pay attention to that
for the
one
past
anymore.
3 governments. These people are actually making the entire Africa, or will I say Nigeria as a whole itself, look so stupid.
Very inconvenient.
Seriously. Because if you look at what is happening in other African countries and compare to what is happening in Nigeria today, you understand that our economy has dropped down for over 150%. You understand me? Imagine $1 being over 1,600 naira. My brother, how are you expecting people to cope?
Dollar is even far. US is even across the Pacific. Is it Atlantic or Pacific? Across the ocean, China. South Africa that is just down south. Their money is higher than our own. Ghana that is our neighbor.
That's why the one that I get it.
Their currency is way higher than ours. Even Cotonou.
I have come to the conclusion that in Nigeria, it will be a wasted effort to depend on the government to make your life better.
I don't even remember the last time anybody even said something about. It's as if we all have this collective understanding now that the government is not going to.
Yes, everybody.
We are not. There's no hope now. You know the reason this thing.
Everybody is working hard on their own, and I encourage people to
Keep doing
go
that.
more into technology. You understand? I encourage people to go more into technology because 9 to 5 is no longer serving people. You understand? So, and what has the sector that has the potential now to give you more money beyond your imagination with just the skills that you learn over a little period of time. The sector that can do it now is technology.
Yeah.
And Africans, let's say not just Africans, people are going into it very, very well. Now, even
you see how saturated solar system
is.
initiative is now around the world. Almost, even in, let's use Nigeria as a example. You see how saturated it is now in Nigeria. Almost, would I say maybe almost 40% of Nigerian population are going into solar, adopting solar system.
Because the another power supply is not basically enough.
You see that solar invention under green energy is not just the only way technology is serving the world. Originally, we know that the invention of solar energy is kicking against the local or traditional generators that we're using, which has an adverse effect on the universe. Through the emissions, the CO2 emissions that depletes the ozone layer and makes the sun to be very intensive on us. So there's also another way technology is serving the universe. There's something we call, there's a technological system now that catches carbon.
Okay.
It tracks carbon from the atmosphere.
Yeah.
You understand? So there are a lot of emissions in the universe. So what this technology does is this: both the emissions from factories, big machines and refineries, and even the traditional generators that we use. When those carbons, those CO2 gets up there in the sky, there is a kind of technology that captures those CO2 and that extracts them out of the atmosphere. You understand? It does not only reduce health risks that are associated with the bad gas, it also reduces the chances or the risk of depleting the ozone layer or causing excessive sun heat in the atmosphere. So thereby saving the world. So that is why I usually make this categorical statement that technology does not also help the world, but it serves it.
And it's serving the world in several ways. Because even though we are in the new era of AI is doing something that if we leave it in the hands of women, yeah, AI is doing something that when we leave those things in the hands of human beings, they might more probably get to the at least 10% of what AI is doing. Now imagine the fact that AI now has, let me say just technology in terms of AI, now has something called voice conversation. Right? Now let's use the terms of ChatGPT. Now people just use ChatGPT as a normal chatbot, ask questions and get your reply, make researches and get results. This ChatGPT goes beyond what you think about. Now I was talking about something called agentic AI last time. Now agentic AI is something that hasn't really gone viral in the midst of people. Especially this is what businesses need. Agentic AI is a technology, it's a new type of AI technology that was introduced to replace the fact that you are sleeping in your house in your free time as a business and somebody is in your website trying to get information about your business, trying to reach out to you, get across to you, either calls, chats, or whatever. And at the end of the day, you're not online to give back, to give them the feedback. Now your agentic AI being well prompted, right, will represent you in this terms. This is where the agentic AI controls the voice calls. Now imagine that people can now build AI voices, AI agents that will stay back in their businesses, answer calls in their absence, represent what the business is all about, introduce new product or the existing product that the customer might be making inquiries about to them. Right? Now the AI will take in their orders, answer their questions, right? And at the end of the day, it will finalize on the business. It will finalize on the business and give a feedback to the business owners. Now at the end of the day, the business owners will only have to take the action, either in completing the orders or processing the orders. The agentic AI is doing the hard part of the jobs already. Hope you know that. Technology is actually helping in several ways. And still on what you said, this is no longer the time where people have to rely on what the government has to offer or what the economy has to offer. This is the time where we actually have to go out there on our own, right? Do the things we feel we have learned in our skills. Implement them. Use them to earn money and also help the economy. So my good people of the White Post, and I think we are coming to the end of the show today. In as much as we don't intend to keep you long in this show, we intend to make any of the episodes as short as possible so that you can also enjoy it and go and attend to other things. So this is going to be the end of the show today. We are trying our best to give you this insight. What you need to do for us to subscribe, share this video, like it, right? Show YouTube that this is a valuable content. And when you do so, YouTube will show this video to more people.
Yes.
Thank you for joining us once again, and we would like to see you the next week Sunday. And bye bye.
Don't forget to subscribe.
Don't forget to subscribe, bro.